This is the news on PBCJ. I am Simone Absalom. 5,000 jobs are projected from the Development Bank of Jamaica's injection of some $6.6 billion into the micro, small and medium enterprise sector. This announcement came from a minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, Darrell Vaz. He was speaking in the sectoral debate in the House of Representatives Tuesday.
Mr. Speaker, in addition, the bank provided support to 252 new businesses and impacted 913 MSMEs through capacity development initiatives. During the 2018-19 financial year, the DBJ will target support of over $27 billion in investments and over $8 billion in loan approvals.
Vaz noted that the DBG had exceeded the $26 billion investment target by $6.9 billion at the end of March. He noted that the total $32.9 billion investment provided by DBG accounted for $11.4 billion.
It will provide support to 220 new businesses and impact 940 MSMEs through capacity development initiatives. 5,500 new jobs are being targeted from these initiatives. Mr. Speaker, once again, we are creating jobs and empowering Jamaicans.
The government-owned National Water Commission, the NWC, has signed a $15 billion refinance agreement with NCB Capital Markets Limited. The agreement aims to primarily restructure a significant portion of its foreign currency debt and reduce its exposure to risks associated with fluctuations in the value of the Jamaican dollar. The facility is being issued in tranches with immediate access to $12.5 billion to fund foreign currency denominated loans and $3 billion for a number of capital projects across the island for 2018-2019. The remaining $2.49 billion is to be received in 12 months and is tied to specific targets related to the NWC's non-revenue water reduction program in Kingston and St. Andrew. Of significance is that the parties have negotiated a 40-year repayment for a $5 billion portion of the facility. The $15 billion bond deal is the largest transaction for the NWC and the second largest Jamaican dollar-denominated transaction of this nature in the country's history. Minister of Science, Energy and Technology, Dr. Andrew Wheatley, says Jamaica is still awaiting a response from Venezuela to the government's offer to repurchase its 49% share in the local oil refinery Petrojam.
But, Mr. Speaker, I must remind this House that it is imperative for our own energy security as a country that we repurchase PDVSA's 49% stake in Petrojam. And as such, we have made an offer to the government of Venezuela to repurchase same. Mr. Speaker, we are still awaiting a response to that offer, Mr. Speaker.
He told parliamentary members that while Jamaica is appreciative of the support in the past from the government and people of Venezuela through the Petro-Caribe Agreement, it is imperative for Jamaica's energy security that the government repurchase 49% stake in PDVSA. He explained that despite Venezuela's promise to send a technical team to continue the discussions and to arrive at a resolution to date, they have yet to meet his obligation. He said the lack of the appreciation on the part of the government of Venezuela now and over the last 10 years for the importance of this matter to Jamaica is of concern to the government. The Jamaica Teachers Association, the JTA, is to sign a 4-year wage agreement with the government today. It agreed on Friday to accept the offer, and the formal agreement will be signed at the Ministry of Finance. JTA President Georgia War Richards has indicated that the association will reveal details of the agreement after it is signed. In regional news, we are in St. Kitts, where the opposition is calling on Prime Minister Timothy Harris to step down amid allegations of bribery and receipt of gifts by government officials.
The transcripts were produced from surveillance recordings made by German police and were handed over to the National Crime Agency, the NCA, in the United Kingdom, who began their own criminal investigation into the allegations of bribery of Dr. Timothy Harris and others. The transcripts produced in the court were of at least 6 intercepted phone calls between Peter Verdi and his business partner, made between February of 2016 and November of 2016. These conversations began about exactly 12 months, a mere 12 months after Harris became Prime Minister of our country, St. Kitts and Nevis.
But in a statement, the government said the integrity of the office of the Prime Minister has been maintained since they took office in 2015. It was inferred that the incidents of corruption may have occurred before that year.
In the judgment delivered on Friday, it was Lord Justice Holroyd of the High Court in London who wrote, and I quote, "There is no doubt that the transcripts include a number of references to the topic of payments of gifts to government officials. Dr. Timothy Harris is mentioned in the transcripts by office and by name, that is to say, Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, Dr. Timothy Harris. He is mentioned directly. He is mentioned unequivocally. There are no ifs, no buts, no maybes. Dr. Harris, his name was mentioned directly in these transcripts. My fellow citizens, the implications are extraordinarily serious. Lord Justice Holroyd went on in his judgment last Friday to say that there is, and I quote, no reason to doubt the accuracy of the intelligence, end of quote.
In sports, we go to cricket, as Sabina Park will be hosting a test match featuring the West Indies and Bangladesh for the first time in 14 years. Sabina Park will host the second test between Cricket West Indies teams starting July 12. The first test will be held in Antigua starting on July 4. They will also play 3 one-day internationals and 3 T20 internationals. Bangladesh starts the tour with a 2-day practice match at the College Cricket Ground in Antigua before the first test. After the second test, they will play the first 2 ODIs in Guyana, where they last played in the 2007 World Cup. This is Bangladesh's 4th tour to the West Indies, the last of which was in 2014 when they didn't win a single game in any of the formats. And that's the news. Do stay with us. The weather report is next. This is PBCJ's weather report. Thanks so much for staying with us. Let's start with our local currents. We're looking at Kingston right now. We're seeing that the sun came up at 6:50 a.m. this morning with a temperature 25 degrees Celsius. Right now it's just about 29 degrees Celsius, and that's set to go down to 24 degrees Celsius this evening as the sun sets at 6:33 p.m. Let's take a look at the 7-day forecast for Kingston. In our 7-day forecast, we're looking at sunny skies through to Thursday, but we could be getting some rainfall on Friday and also over the weekend. We're also seeing temperatures between 23 and 29 degrees Celsius forecast for Kingston this weekend. Let's take a look at what's happening over there in Montego Bay. Right now it's just about 30 degrees Celsius with sunny skies. We're expecting expecting that the temperature will go down in some areas of St. James to about 10 degrees Celsius as the sun sets at 6:33 p.m. And for the next couple of days, we're looking at a forecast, the possibility of showers, 90% for Friday and Saturday. And we could be getting some rainfall on Monday as well. We're looking at temperatures between 23 and 29 degrees Celsius for Montego Bay, St. James. Across the island today, we're expecting temperatures between 28 and 32 degrees Celsius. So it's going to be pretty warm out. And as usual, the parish with the highest temperature forecast for today is St. Elizabeth. We're looking at cloudy conditions across the island. It's going to be super cloudy in some areas of Clarendon today. In our forecast for tomorrow across the island, warm temperatures between 28 and 32 degrees Celsius. We could be getting some rainfall over there in Negril, but it's going to be sunny skies predominantly across most parishes. In our regional forecast, looking at what could be happening in the Caribbean tomorrow, temperatures between 28 and 29 degrees Celsius, cloudy conditions in most Caribbean countries. We're looking at a possibility of rainfall in some areas of Cuba and over there in Antigua. Further afield now, over to the United States, our travel planner for those of us who are flying out, we're seeing temperatures between 13 and 30 degrees Celsius in the areas you're seeing on your screen: Los Angeles, Miami, New York, and Atlanta. We're also seeing a forecast of showers for Miami, New York, and Atlanta, sunny skies forecast, and a little bit of cloudy conditions for Los Angeles. And that's it for the weather report. Thanks so much for making it PBCJ. I am Simone Absalom. Pleasant viewing.